let's take a look at some of the other issues happening around the country, and very much related, that ruling yesterday, is some other redistricting issues, not directly related necessarily, but America's Talking at the Center Square Daily and the centersquare.com. Let's take a look at Florida first, where redistricting legislation moved through the state house and state legislature, that with a new map in Florida, this is poised to flip 4 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. This is a state, remember, it wasn't that long ago, this was a hotly contested state, but it's flipping more and more red under Governor DeSantis, and the legislature moved to flip 4 seats that would appear to be going in the direction of Republicans. Of course, some states have moved in the opposite direction. We take a look at California, for example, where an independent lawmaker has called to put an end to all this gerrymandering. And California Congressman Kevin Kiley, independent, said this is wrong in blue or red states. And we've seen a few people come out and essentially say that as well, both Republicans and Democrats, though in many cases it's been kind of the usual partisan divide here. But the Congressman of California is saying, we need to have fair maps drawn independently, and we need to get away from this partisan gerrymandering. We saw that map in Louisiana of the district. We have a number of them around the country that look like pieces more complicated than jigsaw puzzle pieces. Nothing like some of the more traditional square districts, or maybe there's a river or a state line dividing that's jagged, but generally districts proportional population and relatively somewhat, I guess, normal looking in size. But then we have some that look like all kinds of oddball shapes in various states across the country. Another big issue you can read a lot about at the centersquare.com is involving gas prices. We've seen in some states, we were seeing a bit of a downturn in terms of prices, but now in the last few days, prices have surged. Started in my home state of Illinois, where we are up to over $4.60 a gallon. The price went over $4.50 yesterday, and it's continued to surge, partly playing into that, in addition to the Iran conflict, which really most have told us at the Center Square, it stems from the conflict in Iran, with the U.S. armed conflict in Iran. But we've seen other factors. We're now looking at going into summer blends of gasoline. That plays a role. And there was a brief power outage at a Northwest Indiana refinery, Whiting, Indiana, one of the 10 largest refineries in the country. And that certainly, a AAA spokesperson told me, may be affecting some Midwestern states. And I talked to a BP spokesperson, and he said that that situation was resolved very quickly, that refinery's back to stable operations, but there are suggestions that and some labor issues at the refinery could be affecting things as well. The American Petroleum Institute saying you look at crude oil costs, refining costs, distribution and marketing, and taxes as your 4 big factors affecting gas prices. Well, that's where Illinois and California are 2 of your high tax states. And Illinois looking at over 48 cents a gallon for a tax on gas, and you're taxed on the sales tax on top of that. And there's an automatic increase set to kick in again on July 1st. So Ohio, another state with major gas price increases. And we also have a story from John Stife at the centersquare.com about Wisconsin and the increases that we've seen there. Wisconsin, $3.69 a week ago, $4.17 today, according to AAA. So there's some high gas prices around the country. We'll be keeping an eye on all of these stories at the centersquare.com. And again, we've seen this surge in some states more than others, and even in some Midwestern states more than others. So that's something we'll be watching. Again, this is affecting everyone's pocketbook. And in some cases, those tax implications are large, because as the price goes up, well, then the tax goes up. And so you're paying even more tax on top of tax in some cases, like in the state of Illinois. We'll have much more. Speaking of Illinois, we expect Greg Bishop back tomorrow here for America's Talking in the Center Square Daily. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks to Sam and Eliana for all their help. I'm Jim Talamonte. Got a great day, and thanks for joining us. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff on your favorite platforms. This is the Center Square Daily.